You know, I've tried to maintain this attitude of keeping this bridge open because I really do want to come on these right-wing platforms and talk with these people and blah, blah, blah. But sometimes they do things and say things that remind me that this is, in fact, war. Like, this is war, and they're using the most dirty tactics in the book to win. So Joe Rogan, while talking to his lunatic friend Ari Shaffir, talks about how, I was going to stay out of politics, but then Tim Walz just kept lying. He kept lying about his service in the army and his rank, and he kept lying about Tiananmen Square, and I just felt like I can't let this stand. Let's watch.
Well, I wanted to stay out of the presidential election shit.
Yeah,
it's gross. Because I feel like I had to. I feel like this is so nuts. This is so nuts. When that Tim Walz guy, it's so nuts that guy was going to be the vice president. You're telling me, you're telling me this whole thing's fake then. You're telling me you don't care if someone's a liar. You don't care if they lied about their military rank, where they served. You don't care if they lie about being an assistant. You don't care if they lie about Tiananmen Square. There's too many things. This is so crazy. You would get fired if you were an assistant manager at a fucking oil changing company.
Yeah. So Joe Rogan, the little pawn on the chessboard that he is, alongside the rest of MAGA, Joe Rogan decides to come out and make a stand against Kamala and Tim Walz because the lying is too much. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan is the same person who sat there and said, I guess elections are real now because Trump won. Joe Rogan didn't have a reason to actually believe the election wasn't stolen. He simply believed it wasn't stolen because Trump won.
So, turns out, voting works. It's real. As much as we fucking thought they had it rigged, as much as we thought there was shenanigans and bullshit, and it's just a puppet show, and there's no way anybody could buck the system, turns out voting is still real.
That's it. If Trump wins, everything's fair. If Trump loses, we need to Blue's Clues our way to some kind of fictional story we've created to explain away why we lost. A conspiracy of people rubbing their hands in a corner, or black women steal, all kind of whatever they can come up with to explain away their lost, whether it's blaming Jews or black women or whatever. That's what they'll do. But Joe Rogan also seems to be uniquely and interestingly uncaring about the fact that Donald Trump lied about the election being stolen. In the last 3 years, Donald Trump has produced zero evidence to prove that the election was stolen. In the span of time since January 6th, mountain loads of evidence have come out to show that Donald Trump actually did in fact know the election was not stolen. Every single qualified person who had access to the information that would give someone the knowledge of whether the election was stolen or not, all collectively told him no. You, in fact, did not win the election. You, in fact, lost the election. Whether it was his attorney general, his campaign advisors, his campaign lawyers, whether it was heads of national security, every single person who could legally access the information to prove whether or not this was a stolen election all said no. The state legislators all said, look, man, we don't have any votes for you. You lost to Biden. Donald Trump sends Giuliani to Arizona to ask them to just overturn the election. Just get rid of it.
And I said, I want the names. Do you have the names? Yes. Do you have how they voted? We have all the information. I said, can you get to me that information? Did you bring it with you? She said, no. Both Mr. Giuliani asked her and I asked generally if they'd brought it with them. She said, no, it's not with me, but we can get it to you. And I said, then you didn't bring me the evidence, which was repeated in different iterations for some period of time.
At some point, did one of them make a comment that they didn't have evidence, but they had a lot of theories?
That was Mr. Giuliani.
And what exactly did he say, and how did that come up?
My recollection, he said, we've got lots of theories, we just don't have the evidence.
He calls down in Georgia and asks for extra votes. Donald Trump, when it all doesn't work, culminates in telling his vice president to utilize a ceremonial role as a legal role to undo the election. And when that didn't work and his supporters broke into the Capitol, he stayed silent for 3 hours, hoping somebody would spitting back kick Mike Pence into oblivion. That's what we got. Joe Rogan doesn't care that Ashley Babbitt got shot in the neck behind that lie. He doesn't care. What about another lie? We can keep going. Trump lies all the time. What about the most recent lie about how Joe Biden took money intended for hurricane victims and dispersed it in the strip club? Maybe he bought a Birkin bag, a new Bugatti. He woke up in a new Bugatti. Whatever the case might be, Trump tries to portray Biden as a mishandler of funds necessary for the American people. Why did every single governor have to publicly come out and say, no, this isn't true? Biden, thank you so much for giving us the appropriate funds.
I just spoke. The president just called me yesterday afternoon. I missed him and called him right back. And he just said, hey, what do you need? And I told him, you know, we got what we need. We'll work through the federal process. He offered that if there's other things we need, just to call him directly, which I appreciate that. But we've had FEMA embedded with us since, you know, a day or two before the storm hit in our state operations center in Atlanta.
Now, does Joe Rogan care that Donald Trump is playing with people's lives? Of course not. Ashley Babbitt gets popped in the throat? No big deal. Cops commit, you know what, after the event of January 6th? No big deal. FEMA workers being chased and attacked by Trump supporters? No big deal. He can put everyone's lives at risk, and Joe Rogan will sit there digesting his poisoned elk meat, because something's eating away at his brain. I don't know if it's getting kicked in the head too many times or the elk meat. Something's getting to him. Joe Rogan just can't understand what's going on. He just doesn't understand it. But he had to make a stand against Tim Walz, though. I can't let this evil stand. Somebody shove Joe Rogan's 5'3" ass in a locker, please. Somebody please shove him in a locker. I can't keep doing this with these dorks. Talking about I needed to make a stand against Tim Walz because he lied about his service. First and foremost, Tim Walz did not lie about his service. He was, I believe, promoted to Sergeant Major, but he was demoted after he left the Army. The reality is that Tim Walz did reach the rank of Command Sergeant Major, but after he retired, he was reduced in rank. Not because he committed a crime like Trump, not because he was involved in spooky activity, but he was simply reduced in rank after leaving. And that's just what it is. Like, what does Joe Rogan want me to sit here and say? Equivocate Trump's lies to Tim? I wonder who got shot in the neck because Tim Walz wasn't at Tiananmen Square. If only he hadn't lied, they'd still be alive today, huh? Joe Rogan is vermin. Joe Rogan is just, at this point, like, treat him like any other MAGA head. Because the reality is, when Joe Rogan does stuff like this, he further and further and further sinks our country into an era of derangement, the likes of which we've never seen. And at this point, you know, I want to bridge the gap with conservatives, but gee, it's like, damn, like, it's at this point, there's just no hope. There's no point. This will end badly. I'm just going to let you guys know right now, with this level of propaganda that the right pushes, this will not end peacefully, okay? This will end in a really ugly way, not just for the United States, but specifically for MAGA, because nothing built on evil sustains itself. Nothing built on racism sustains itself. It will always self-destruct, okay? Even now, you go on Twitter, you're inundated with anti-black, anti-Jewish, anti-woman posts. This kind of hatred can only run for so long. It's only a matter of time before the right starts trying to jump back to Jim Crow. It's only a matter of time before they start trying to moonwalk back to oppression. And then the people who voted for them are going to have to figure things out. Latinos for Trump. A lot of you guys are going to be figuring some things out in the next 8 years because Trump ain't leaving. Trump's not leaving when his time's up. And he's saying that he's going to be denaturalizing people and shipping them back to where they're from in Amazon. I don't even know if he'll ship them back to where they're from. You know, Trump doesn't care about proper logistics. He'll probably put them in Amazon boxes and just send them in the direction of the South. Wherever y'all end up, Venezuela, Colombia, wherever you just, whatever. Just figure out, open up your little GPS, open up the HUD map, and, you know what I'm saying, fast travel to where you're from. The reality is, like, Joe Rogan does not know what the fuck he's talking about. Joe Rogan is one of the most lost people. And, you know, here's a cherry on the cake. And Tim Walz, this is your fault for being so soft. When you were up there with J.D. Vance, you should have sent him to the netherworld. You should have sent him to the upper room. By the end of the debate, J.D. should have seen God, Allah, everybody. Okay, J.D. Vance should have came back a thoroughly changed man. J.D. Vance got up there and said, if Donald Trump asked me not to certify the election, I wouldn't certify. Now imagine if Tim Walz got on stage and said, if Kamala at the behest of Joe, or no, what if Kamala said, let's just make it even more relevant, because Kamala is a VP. What if Kamala sat there and said, if Joe Biden asked me not to certify the election in the event of a Trump victory, I won't. I'll obey what Joe Biden says. That Constitution we all live by, done up. It's Biden season now. It's Big Brandon season now. It's Kamala season now, okay? If she said that, Joe Rogan would sit there and make a stand. He'd talk about how horrible it is. Do you see why I go so hard on leftists? Do you see why I despise the Democratic Party to such an insane extent? The hatred I feel for this party is because of how weak we are. We have allowed the average American to think that the Democrats and Republicans are the same. As Donald Trump uses these people as send-offs to go get shot in the neck by cops in the Capitol, Tim Walz exaggerating about his Tiananmen Square stories and what rank he had when he left the army, that's the real problem. And we've allowed this to happen. So many, and it's not even really the fault of the average voter. I'm pissed at a lot of y'all for staying home, but the fault is really it really rests at the media. Liberal media, y'all are such goody two-shoe little punks. I fucking hate so many of you. And it's not even it is the mainstream media, but even alternative media constantly tries to push this message of, well, don't you understand both sides are the same? Don't you understand that if Kamala and Trump get in office, it'll be the same in Palestine, it'll be the same in America, everything will be the same? It's like Trump is constantly telling you, I will destroy you and everything you love, and y'all are still trying to find a way to make Democrats seem equal to him. It's so pathetic and so sad. Like, imagine you got somebody, you over there, you laying down fire, and your homeboy over there, well, maybe we should just let them kill us because... It's like, oh my goodness, bro. How can you work with these people, huh? If I was Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, again, I would lay a curse on the Democratic Party. You can't work with these people. This is the problem. And I see it, I'm going to make a video about the whole Joe Biden, Hunter Biden pardon situation. You see the liberals coming out, can't believe Joe Biden would do this. Just shut your punk ass up. Sitting there talking about something, you can't believe Joe Biden would pardon Hunter. Play your position. Trump over there pardoning everybody. He's over there pardoning Stinkmeaner. He's over there pardoning Orochimaru. He's over there pardoning what's an evil character from Skyrim. He's over there pardoning some of the most demonic characters you could possibly think of. Steve Bannon is so ugly, he shouldn't be allowed to be a citizen, and Trump pardoned him. Think about that. Joe Biden pardons his son, who seems to know how to have fun. He's got hookers, he's got cocaine, he's doing his thing in pride. He ain't bothering nobody. You got Steve Bannon scamming his own supporters out of money to build a wall, and Trump pardons this troll who somehow came out of the ground, and you're upset with Biden for pardoning his son, Big Hunt. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all should be welcoming him. Y'all should be celebrating right now. Clinking glasses. We took some kind of W from this. We didn't win the election. Can we at least get Hunter Biden out of jail? Can we save him from jail? Can we not do that? Damn. That's why I hate this party, bro. This is why Joe Rogan can do what he does, because the average American sits there and thinks, yeah, Trump did lie about the hurricanes and probably contributed to people not getting the help that they needed from FEMA, and people might have died from that, but Tim Walz, though. Tim Walz. Joe Rogan is just like, this is my line in the sand with Joe Rogan. Okay? Like, the other stuff, I didn't care, but like this dude trying to equate Trump's crimes and lies to fucking Walz, I can't with Joe Rogan no more, bro. He's just disgusting now, bro. I know a lot of y'all are, wow, you weren't done with Joe Rogan sooner, man. It's like, well, obviously I'm going to try to be tactful with the way I talk about other people in the space, and not in the space, but like in this game, right? I would like to network. I'd like to talk to people. I can't just be guns blazing 24/7, but this type of shit, I got to stand on. Somebody got to stand on business, bro. I hate the fact that like I have to take so many crazy risks because Democrats are either trying to sabotage their own politicians or their own party, unwilling to be tough. I have to say all kind of stuff that other people, why do I have to say this shit? Why can't somebody else do this shit? Why do I have to do this? Why is it? Why do I feel like the only one? Like, why do I feel like the only one? Why do I feel like you only one? Okay, like, why do I, like, what's going on with this? This is not acceptable. Okay, they need to hire me at the Democratic Party. So they need to hire me. Okay, they need to hire me. They hire me. Okay, I could turn this thing around. I've got the memes. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? The problem is, bro, the Democratic Party ain't ready. And a lot of y'all ain't ready. You know, a lot of people still sitting there talking about some, you know, the Democratic Party needs to earn my vote. Okay. I'm gonna just sit back and let Trump destroy everything. Sitting there talking about some Kamala need to earn your vote. Donnie, send it. Donnie, send it. Destroy their rights, Donald. Destroy their liberties. Take away their freedoms, Donald. Amen. Since Trump telling you he'll destroy everything is not enough, since him trying to steal your right to vote, you know that man was charged with violation of people's right to vote, right? He was charged with conspiracy against rights. He tried to conspire against people's right to vote. And you still sat there and said, well, I don't know if it's not, this is just the same Kamala. I'm not feeling her. Okay, Donald, send it. Dictator from day 1 to day 300. Let's do it. Maybe that's what it's going to take for y'all to wake up. Maybe Trump needs to Tootsie slide all over your rights and moonwalk all over your hopes and dreams and shit on everything before you sit there and say, wow, I really should have voted. Oh, and by the way, he said he should have never left office last time, and we all know he legitimately lost that time. Even Steve Bannon admits it. So for those of you who sat there and thought, well, the Democrats will learn their lesson, and then maybe next time we'll win. This nigga saying he's not even about to. The Supreme Court said he's king now, and you know Congress will never stand against him. What DJ Khaled be saying? Never play yourself. That's what y'all, you played yourself. And now we have to listen to Joe Rogan compare, you know, Tim Walz and Trump. Thank you, all of you. I fucking hate it, bro. Like, oh my goodness, bro. Guys, we gotta get strong, okay? We gotta be strong. Like DJ Khaled said, never give in. Never surrender. Khaled is inspiring. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with the video. But Khaled is inspiring, though. I'm saying it. Nobody want to say it. I love DJ Khaled, okay? I love Khaled.